Fast forward, any come out channel so I see AGH Politics Avenue. Political social training because making headlines. Any agenda need to be exomo. I need him young Brock Simus. And it can am special bit subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell so share. Now for front so answer into me and can be need him young Brock Simu. Unia young Queen Simu. Your Queen Sima Unia. Yeah. Political party for fra a lunch Martin a day about bontain so first name movement and then or say your friend UP plus. Now we say and a honorable Zato communication member Emma a year NDC at me a BB in some swa only acquire banter between ono any Solomon Owusu. Now what should I say? Coming out with this political party no normal means it's out of bitterness and hatred. Na Solomon Owusu so ebo ni nkyeremu one fa ne ho anche ne kora ehu behia se yehu ne yekọ ene de eba ewo channel yi so yesemre yembongra wo mu aso ye abra o magemre na omu ehwi insem no egu ho AGH Politics Avenue.
This is what the picture looks like.
Thank you very much, and once again, good morning to our listeners and good morning to those sitting here, Prof, DG, I understand. Today, I want to try to situate my presentation in history, political history, and in maths. My maths is not good. Is yours good? Is yours better? Okay, we'll do that. When you do that, you can state without any hesitation and any equivocation that this new UP Plus will have zero and an infinitesimal impact on the NDC MPP duopoly.
They will have what?
Zero impact. Zero. Infinitesimal. It will not happen.
Infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal, yes, I hope that I pronounced the word well. I also state that the ultimate objective of this party is not to win power. It's not to become president. No. The ultimate objective is to hurt His Excellency Dr. Bawumia and to prevent Bawumia coming. This is a party that was conceived by the hatred and the dislike of Bawumia, not by any political ideology. If you want to understand what I'm saying and understand, I'm not a soothsayer, but sometimes I do this. You must ask yourself a question. Have you ever heard of President Recruit Robe? Have you ever heard of President Pakwesi Indum? Have you ever heard of President Guzitano? Have you ever heard of President what's his name? In fact, just put it there, President Obed Asamoah. You've never heard about them. The history has told, and there's a reason why you've not heard about them. They all have one thing in common. At one point in time, they belonged to a political party. And then, due to various reasons, mostly associated with successions, presidential successions, they left their home, they left the mothership. And whenever they left the mothership, they perished. Again, that is what the history has told us, that whenever they leave the mothership, in this case, when you leave your main political party and you go somewhere, you perish. You perish because when you leave your own political party and you go somewhere, people see you as selfish, people see you as greedy, and people see you as unprincipled. And precisely because of that, they punish you. So let's go. I just want to do something quickly, small. Like, you've already done it for me. That's what I'm saying. You've done my whole presentation for me. But I want to zero in on one person in particular, Dr. Pakwesi Indum.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Pakwesi Indum. When Akuffo came in and preached his all-inclusive government, he brought Pakwesi Indum. And Pakwesi Indum was one of the most stellar performers in the Akuffo administration, no matter what you see. First, he was charged of public sector reforms, then later energy, and almost all the reforms you've seen in the energy sector, he brought them. Excellent, wonderful performer. Then he left, went back to his mother party, which was the CPP, contested the 2008, was it 2008? Yes. And he got almost 114,000 votes. That was what he got in the CPP, almost 140,000 votes. Placing about 1.3 or 1.7 there, about 1.7% of the total vote. Yes, you want to see that. Then something happened. Also, because of succession problems, he left, formed his own Progressive People Party. And you want to see, his performance in the next election was abysmal. He dropped, just by a small, I tried to do some rudimentary maths here. I think he lost about 50,000 votes and fell down to, from 1.7 to, you have it at 0.59. So when he was so, in fact, if you see it, he was better off on the mothership, on the CPP.
Pakistan was better off
on the mothership,
CPP than
where he went up. And that has come to define. Recuperated the same thing. When he was with the NPP, he left and came. History has told us that the voters humiliated him. The voters humbled him. We've seen that Guzitano, the same thing. And the same thing with Alan Chamata. You want to understand. The thing is that Brobe could have an excuse. What's his name? Pakistan could have an excuse. Because before this time, none of them had run in the primary, in the national primary before. But Alan had. So Alan had national experience of running in national primary because he contested Akuffo in the 2007 primary. He also contested other primaries. So by the time Alan was breaking away, he should have come with all the pluses that you need. Name recognition, face recognition, national exposure, because he's done that. He went around the whole country campaigning. But look at the results that he got in the 2024 elections. Numbers don't lie. This is not about numbers. Despite all that, I want you to understand, it was in 2027 that he became Alan Cash, and everybody, in fact, became so popular that he was using a song, right? Sarkozy had a song, Alan Cash.
So the Alan Cash was from 2008.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to make a point that he had national recognition, so much so that pop stars were using his name in their production. And then what happened when he faced the voters? 0.3%. So it tells you something. That's what I'm saying today. So if you are, what's the name, into betting, and you ask yourself, where should you put your money? I'm saying just look at the numbers. Look at the numbers alone and look at the history. Nobody who bets will want to put your money there because you know where it happened. The history of Pakistan, the history of all these people tell you that it doesn't happen. In fact, the motto in this country is, you better together. Because Ghanaian voters are aspirational voters. And so now that's why, again, the data is saying, Musa Addo was making the point about the floating voters, or the voters, and even Ashanti. Again, the Pakistan story and Alan's story also made it some way. When Pakistan was leaving, the idea was that he would take the central region votes. That he was more popular in central region. And so this idea was that, and remember, central region is one of the floating regions of the country. So if you capture central region, you cause a lot of harm to both the NDC and the NPP. So the idea was that, he will capture the central region vote and become powerful. It never happened. A similar narrative will be forcefully fed, that if Alan leaves, he will capture the Ashanti region votes, denying the NPP serious oxygen in the region that they need. Again, you can see it. And as the data doesn't lie at all. The data they also tell that it doesn't happen. And there's a reason. Voters like to think that the voters want their vote to count. The only way your vote can count is that that's why they look at candidates that they think are promising, candidates that I think can win. And so they can like you, they can be there like, can you win? Can this guy win? And that's why sometimes you see that sometimes, even in poll letters, there's something called break. There can be a major break for a candidate when something happens and now you cannot win. A similar thing happened between Trump and Hillary Clinton in the run-up to US elections, when Cuomo released that data that said that they are reinvestigating. That singular... Sorry, yes. That singular act made voters, especially floating voters,
October to remember.
October to remember. In fact, the October surprise is etched in the US electoral history. That incident made voters say, if this, because remember, there was a narrative that Hillary was crooked.
And she was hiding.
She was hiding things.
She was using the private emails.
So the moment Jim Comey said, we've seen this, the voters bought it. And they didn't want to waste their vote. So the point, that's what you are beginning to see. So I'm saying that for this one, it's not just about history. It's not just about politics. It's about history. It's about data. And it's about what we call, if you look at it, it's a trend. If you do a trend analysis.
Well, you for the NPP, UP Plus, some have described as a direct threat to you. You say that you rather see the formation of this UP Plus as out of bitterness and not necessarily to win election.
Yes.
Why?
Because look, political history is important, but so many of the people voting today are not students of history. Even if they are students of history, they understand this. The UP Plus was, as someone say, one of the most antagonistic to people of the CPP. So if you're an old school politician...
You mean the UP?
The UP, sorry, the UP. So if you're an old school politician and you still believe in this thing, you have a problem right there. The NDC tells you some of their roots come from Akroma. So that's why there are so many Akromaites, they find themselves very comfortable. That's also because we are looking at the ideological divide in Ghana. And if it assumes left-right ideological platform in Ghana, the center-left is dominated by in fact, the NDC has cannibalized the CPP on the center-left. So if you are already a center-left politician and you have the NDC, you are not looking for another center-left. If you're looking at the center-right tradition in Ghana, the NPP occupies that position strongly. So there's no other. So if yours is an ideological argument, if yours is an ideological analysis, you are comfortable with the center-left, you have the NDC there. If yours is a center-right, you're comfortable, you have the NPP there. So on what basis? And that's the point I'm making, that the data keeps telling us, all over, the data keeps telling us that this does not happen. And it's data I'm talking about, just data and the history.
So the diagnosis of Dr. Zato is that the formation of your party is out of bitterness, essentially, for the MPP. You don't want to win an election. You are just out there to get the MPP. But it says data shows that's not going to happen.
First of all, if I were to ask, or I was to ask Zato to define what bitterness is, it will be very difficult this month. He's just using word anyhow. Yes, bitterness.
Say he can define
How is he going to define bitterness? He did join the MPP because
the university professor discourse.
What is the definition of bitterness?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Let me give him 30 seconds.
well,
Okay.
bitterness is a term of art.
That is what I want to understand.
Bitterness is because Alan
of a galaxy of stars. So today it will be butu. But let me make the point that preliminary remarks. You like always heckling me when when Martin is greeting everybody. Martin has stopped greeting.
He hasn't. I just said that because we're already
you have a downside and we
that's right. You're absolutely right.
So let me say that greetings to shipping lines. This time, not shippers. I am seen to be fighting for the interests of shippers and protecting them from shipping lines. But our act tells us to be independent arbiters, and so we are supposed to fight for shippers, and we are supposed to also fight for the interest of shipping lines. I think over the week there were some issues. Some of them have allowed, or through I don't know, but some people operating within shipping lines have done things that were untoward, and these have these have led to a lot of resources being drained from the state, and it has also courted some penalties that have been slapped, on some of these shipping lines, and some of us have decided to also intervene. Not to say that the penalties should not be slapped, but maybe if they could, do something about the penalties, and then also we're going to work together to ensure that the shipping lines themselves come out with proposals as to how some of the leakages and slippages and some of the untoward things that happen that make the state lose money, how some of these things can be addressed, so that at the end of the day, they can go about their legitimate business, and the state can also gain the resources that it needs from shipping, so that we'll have enough money for our development. And so just to make the point that we are not always fighting shipping lines. Right. Where it is necessary and where their interests would also have to be protected, we will do so. And so we will continue to play our role as Ghana Shippers Authority as independent, impartial arbiters to ensure that we deepen and promote international trade. So my regards and greetings to all shipping lines, and my newfound friend Imoru Ayana, the president of SOAG, Ship Owners Association.
Perfect.
That said, greetings once again to everybody. Eduji, ever since you became rich, you don't pick my call.
Thank you.
Zato, people don't know the relationship I have with you, but we go way back. Good to see you. Martin Pebu, who doesn't know He doesn't know how to play football, but he's always coming to disturb us on the
Where
field.
did you go, Richard?
And,
He doesn't take my calls.
He doesn't take, yeah. And then Solo, this is my first time meeting you in person. But I keep wondering, how did the MPP lose somebody like Solo? How did they lose him? How?
Solo, how did the MPP lose you?
How did they lose somebody like Solo? I think he's doing very well in shaping our political discourse. Anytime I see him on TV, I'm excited.
When he referenced Solo, one of the things that came to mind is that I have monitored Solo, and because we are almost of the same age, we've basically looked.
He's a young man. Oh, okay.
We've basically looked at each other's politics over the period, and he's a tough sell.
Indeed.
Solo is a tough sell, and that is why I said he's the tormentor in chief. Look, you don't want him on as an adversary. You are better off having Solo on your side. Because you see, what Solo comes with is passion, depth, and that kind of intellect you really have. And language.
Yeah.
He does very good with Tree, does very good with English. So every platform you put him, he's just floating. I think that political parties consciously must identify such talents among us and do everything to keep them.
Yeah.
Because you see, our politics now, unlike in the past, when a few journalists will meet and set the agenda for the week, it's no longer the case. Now, like it's difficult to meet us and say, today should be the agenda. No, it's almost impossible.
Who are you? To set the agenda.
And I always tell people that the only time MPP came to power, first time, was 2001, 2008.
Yeah.
At that time, look at the media at that time, the limitation with the media. And then look at from 2017, that should tell you the dynamics that changed that the MPP didn't recognize. Yeah. And so they had in mind, the old time, the coffee, people and the things they
I'm counting you down on your time, just so you know.
So today things have changed, the dynamics have changed. Today we have the likes of Musa Dankwa. He has been doing things to NDC I don't like, but I can't call him.
Well, those
I don't want Zato to use it as a reference point for, curbing dissent in the country.
You give honor to
even my neighbor, I could just walk to him at home and say, Musa, you allow us some small briefing space. Let's govern 2 years before you do it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And Solo, you deserve it all. Thank you.
You have heard. So allow governance for 2 years.
They are just slipping it in. They are slipping it in.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That said, this is what Musa Dankwa put out. This is the picture that he put out. Thank you. With Alan Chamanting, the 2024 elections, this was the overall outcome.
Correct.
That you captured. In fact, the Electoral Commission declared under 0.3, in fact, it was 0.26% thereabout. And then John Dramani Mahama 56.4, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 41.8.
41.
No. The Electoral Commission, they corrected it. That was corrected. It's corrected. Yes.
41.7.
So the floating voters that you talk about.
Not 30.
I think it's been corrected. It's been corrected.
41.7.
I'll share the data with you. No problem.
So the 38.
No. Don't worry. Stop the meeting. So this floating voters, what does it say? Tell me about this.
Now, if you look at nationally, floating voters, people who don't align with NDC and MPP, in the last election, 58.2% went for John Mahama. 31.6 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 2% for Alan Chirabatin, and 8% for the other candidates, including Cheddar. So you could see that the floating voters drifted more towards the other candidates, which is Cheddar and the other people, than they did for Alan Chirabatin.
See, I'm going to give Solo the last word on this because clearly this picture of Alan Chirabatin doesn't do the United Party Plus any good. And because of this picture, there are some who describe Alan as a spent shell and not one with the bullet that would cause any harm to the MPP and the NDC. Because that's one of the objectives, to break the duopoly. Will this happen? Well, Dr. Zato, the UP Plus objectives are directly picked from the roots of the MPP. You see that you abandoned, according to Solo, the values of UP. They are bringing it back and adding more value to it so that they would present the true UP to the people that you are disconnecting yourself from. But this
we ayan sama holo timi course watch no so mamna so jemre e wa hada sane so ba de ndia dombi edumenia yensen hyiam ne yenso mo kwason ko so kra